When you look back over the massive variety of different equipment sets released in the vintage 12-inch G.I. Joe line, you quickly realise why these action figures were such a sweeping success. Each of the uniforms and accessories produced by Hasbro were miniature marvels of toy design, manufactured with a level of detailed accuracy that was unrivalled in the late 60s and early 70s. With such a huge catalogue of different sets produced for the vintage G.I. Joe range, it's no surprise that some sets have become more desirable than others. Whether it's due to the rarity, the popularity, or the uniqueness of a set, there will always be certain G.I. Joe outfits that the collecting community will consider to be holy grails. The same can be said for Palitoy's Action Man, G.I. Joe's British cousin. One of the holy grails in my Action Man collection is my boxed missile assault set, and this is due to its rarity. Another of the holy grails in my collection is my Action Man Blues and Royals uniform, and this is due to its popularity. When you discuss an equipment set that is a complete combination of rarity, popularity, and extreme uniqueness, you have a vintage toy that is truly special, and one such set can be found in both the G.I. Joe and the Action Man toy lines. Palitoy called it the Action Man Space Explorer, and Hasbro gave the set the title of the G.I. Joe Astronaut Flying Space Adventure. Hello G.I. Joe and Action Man fans, my name is Tony and welcome back to the Analog Toys YouTube channel and the feature of today's vintage toy review, the G.I. Joe Astronaut Flying Space Adventure set and the Action Man Space Explorer. In the early years of Hasbro's G.I. Joe, all of the outfits produced for the action figure line had a military theme, but as the anti-war sentiment spread across America as a reaction to the Vietnam War, Hasbro very wisely dropped this military focus and turned G.I. Joe into an adventurer, and one of the most popular action figures of this era was the G.I. Joe Astronaut.
Now that mankind is on the threshold of the galaxies, a new hero has come forth to lead us into the future. Introducing the new G.I. Joe Astronaut. He has lifelike hair and talks the language of tomorrow.
10 seconds to lift off and counting.
Go with him on daring missions like the Flying Space Rescue. Get the new G.I. Joe Talking Astronaut and collect astronaut adventure sets. G.I. Joe Astronaut, now with lifelike hair, from Hasbro.
The G.I. Joe Astronaut Flying Space Adventure set was issued in a beautiful deluxe window box and was available from 1970 to 1972. The set also came with a mini-comic in which G.I. Joe must make a dangerous spacewalk with his rocket pack to retrieve a lost satellite. Although the Flying Space Adventure set was available for a few years, it was produced in limited numbers, and that, coupled with the fact that it had many unique accessories, make this a high-demand piece for today's collectors. The G.I. Joe set featured an American flag sewn onto the left shoulder of the jumpsuit. However, when Palitoy produced the Action Man Space Explorer for the British toy market, they removed the American flag from the spacesuit and replaced it with the iconic Action Man logo. The Action Man version of this set was produced in limited numbers for 1 year only, making it one of the rarest Action Man outfits ever produced. In fact, both the G.I. Joe Flying Space Adventure set and the Action Man Space Explorer are so rare that I doubt I'll ever own both of them, which is why for now I'm content simply owning the Action Man version of this set. So let's take a closer look at the accessories included in this legendary equipment set. The Action Man Space Explorer came dressed in a white spacesuit, which, along with the Action Man logo, also sported a chest badge depicting a space rocket during takeoff. This badge is very often missing from the suit, making it almost impossible to find today, and that's why it's one of the only reproduction pieces in my entire Action Man collection. The spacesuit is also equipped with a clear space helmet and a pair of boots. These boots are the same ones that were first issued with the Action Man Polar Explorer, however this time they were manufactured out of a vibrant yellow plastic. When it comes to the rest of the accessories included in this set, things become a little bit confusing, and that's because many different colour variations were used. So as I review each accessory, I'll try to break down all the different colour variations as I go. As far as I've been able to identify, the G.I. Joe Flying Space Adventure set has no colour variations beyond what is shown here. The G.I. Joe Astronaut is equipped with a white rocket pack and space chair, a red X-ray camera with white rings, a white pickup arm, and finally a blue control handle. On the other hand, the Action Man Space Explorer comes with either a red or white rocket pack and space chair combination, a grey X-ray camera with either red or white plastic rings, the pickup arm moulded in either red or white plastic, and finally the control handle, which is manufactured in blue, just like the G.I. Joe version. To further confuse things, Hasbro also released some of these accessories a few years later in a small Adventure Team action pack entitled Flying Rescue, this time with an all-red rocket pack and a blue chair. Over the years I've come to realise that most vintage Action Man collectors agree with all but one of these colour variations. The one variation they fail to agree on is the colour of Action Man's pickup arm. Many times collectors have insisted to me that the G.I. Joe pickup arm is white and the Action Man pickup arm is red, meaning that my Action Man Space Explorer has been outfitted with a G.I. Joe accessory. But I've uncovered one crucial piece of evidence to negate this theory. The confusion comes from the fact that the only known boxed example of the Action Man Space Explorer that I've been able to identify was sold by Metropolis Toys, and this one included a red pickup arm. The Action Man equipment manual from 1971 is of little assistance, since it only features an illustration of the set that was clearly based on the G.I. Joe Flying Space Adventure set, and was probably drawn before Palitoy had undertaken any manufacturing changes. My crucial piece of evidence comes courtesy of Action Man's chief designer Bob Breakin, who unearthed some old photographs of Palitoy's Action Man display at the 1971 Brighton Toy Fair. Upon closer inspection of these photographs, you can see that the boxed example of the Action Man Space Explorer includes a white pickup arm, and the loose figure suspended at the front of the display comes with a red pickup arm. I therefore surmise that the Palitoy Action Man was released with both a white pickup arm and a red pickup arm. So whichever one you have in your collection, if it's fitted to an Action Man Space Explorer, you've got the right accessory. So now that all of this red-white confusion is out of the way, let's get on with reviewing this toy. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what colour variation you have. All of these sets are visually striking, incredibly unique, and look absolutely stunning when displayed. The added play value incorporated into the Flying Fox style rocket pack made for a truly action-packed toy that the kids of the era would have loved. My only real gripe is the lack of gloves. But neither G.I. Joe nor Action Man would ever complain about going into space without the protection of a pair of space gloves. The G.I. Joe Flying Space Adventure set was also available as part of the Sears exclusive Deluxe Adventure set, which is now regarded as the rarest box in the entire Adventure Team line. If I could travel back in time and purchase only one vintage G.I. Joe or Action Man equipment set, it would be this. And if you're lucky enough to own one, it should remain the centrepiece of your entire collection. Hasbro also had plans to manufacture a companion piece to the Flying Space Adventure, entitled the G.I. Joe Astronaut Space-O-Matic.
Introducing the G.I. Joe Space-O-Matic. Space-O-Matic, the futuristic space vehicle you program yourself to make it go where you want, do what you want. Program it to lift, or to scoop, or use the magnetic pickup.
Watch this! Way to go, Joe!
G.I. Joe Space-O-Matic from Hasbro.
The Space-O-Matic was to be part of Hasbro's ambitious new concept entitled The 50 Adventures of G.I. Joe. But the oil embargo of the 1970s would reduce the size of plastic toys, until Joe became a mere shadow of his former self, so plans to complete an entire range of 50 different equipment sets were shelved forever. In my opinion, both the G.I. Joe Flying Space Adventure set and the Action Man Space Explorer are quite possibly the most spectacular sets produced for either toy line, and are truly worthy of their status as holy grails. I score this equipment set 4.5 out of 5. So that's our review of both the G.I. Joe Flying Space Adventure set and the Action Man Space Explorer. Did you agree with our score? Please leave us a comment in the section below, and if you like this video you must subscribe to the Analog Toys YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our vintage toy video uploads. I'm Tony from Analog Toys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.